Hi, everybody. So today's Monday. That means it's time for family movie night. And this week we are finishing up my Jane Austen month. It's actually been a month and a half. So it's been so much fun this year to talk about different Jane Austen adaptations. And I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed doing it. Today we're talking about underrated entry in the Jane Austen adaptations. It's the 2008 Sense and Sensibility. And I think in some ways that this is even better than the Ang Lee version from 1995, which I also really enjoy and I've reviewed on the channel. But this one is definitely more true to the book. And the screenwriter, Andrew Davies, he's the one who did Pride and Prejudice. So now he's putting his stamp on Sense and Sensibility. I think he does a really, really good job. And one of the biggest differences between this and the Ang Lee version is that the casting is more accurate to the book. And so you have actual young people playing both the parts of Marianne and Eleanor. And so you have Hattie Morahan playing Eleanor, and she just looks way more the part than Emma Thompson did playing Eleanor, even though she did a good job. Eleanor is supposed to be 19, and she definitely looks more the part of a young woman. And then you have Charity Wakefield playing Marianne and Dominic Cooper playing Willoughby. And they definitely have really good chemistry. So this movie actually starts with Willoughby seducing Eliza. So you know from the very beginning that he's a scoundrel and that he's up to no good. So if you hadn't read the book, if you weren't familiar with the story, you are definitely put in this situation where you're not rooting for Willoughby and Marianne because you know that he's no good. So that's an interesting kind of dynamic and a way to set everything up. And you definitely get the feeling of them having to wait and having to be dependent upon other people for their choices. And I think they do a really good job of showing the pain of Eleanor of having to watch Lucy and know that Edward is gone from her. And she just seems like more of a vulnerable character here. Seems younger, and I think they really capture that well. You also have Dan Stevens playing Edward, and I think it's definitely an upgrade from Hugh Grant, which always just felt a little bit like too awkward, a little bit strange. And I think the chemistry between Eleanor and Edward in this is stronger than in Sense and Sensibility in 1995. So that works. I think that David Morrissey playing Colonel Brandon is a downgrade from Alan Rickman. I mean, how can you measure up to Alan Rickman? But he really does feel like the dad, the parent, more than the lover in here. But you know, that's just sort of how the character is written. So it is again more accurate to the book than the 1995 version. And I really like the mother. I really like Janet McTeer playing Mrs. Dashwood, playing the mother. Recently saw the menu. She played the critic down there, and I thought she was so good. If it were up to me, I would have nominated her for Best Supporting Actor. The actress, I thought she was great. And she's really good here. There are some things you can tell that it didn't have the budget of the 1995 film. The costumes are a little bit of a mess, like all different eras. They don't look cohesive at times. And it just doesn't have sort of the production and the budget of feature film in a series like this. But I think all the acting is excellent in here, and I think the adaptation is really solid. Like I said, it stays pretty close to the book, and it moves things around a little bit. It changes things a little bit, but nothing too drastic. That I really like Charity Wakefield as Marianne. I mean, it's hard to live up to Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet is such a good actress, but I think that she does a good job because you felt the chemistry so much, and you knew from the very beginning that Willoughby was a scoundrel, that the tension and just everything about her performance, I think really you feel for the character from the very beginning because you see how innocent she is. And how she is being deceived from the very beginning. So I think that works very well. Yeah, all the acting is great, and it's such a good story. I mean, I think as anybody who has a sister can relate to this story. I think it almost works better as a story about sisterhood and a story about friendship even more than a story about romance, because it's really about how these two sisters come to understand each other by the end of the novel or the movie. And so these romances are kind of just almost tools for their relationship to grow, and how Marianne realizes that what Eleanor has is a great strength and something she should try to do more. That she realizes that Eleanor has great strength and dignity, and that's something she should try to emulate. And I think Eleanor realizes that the passion of Marianne is also important by the end. And then when you see her crying, I love the proposal in this series when Edward returns and she loses it. And she has to go into the kitchen, and that's where he proposes. And she's working on the bread and just she can't take it anymore. It's really sweet, really well done. And so yeah, I think that if you want something that really captures the book and that has that sisterly dynamic, I think that this version of Sense Sensibility is really good. And if you want to see like a young Dan Stevens, you can enjoy that. And so if you've seen this one, let me know what you think. I would be very curious. And I think the biggest difference is you have those younger actresses. Well, I think the biggest difference is the casting and this really quality script from Andrew Davies. I think that's what sets it apart. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll have my playlist with all of my Jane Austen reviews for you to enjoy. Please check that out. And let me know what you would like me to review next for Family Movie Night. I would love your suggestions. And check out the Patreon group and merch store. We have our patron watch along coming up this week. I think you'll really enjoy it. Actress Catherine Davis, she's awesome. So please take a look at that. I would really, really, really appreciate the support. And you have weekly exclusive reviews and more. So please take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.